evening, everybody. Welcome to this regular meeting of the Vader City Council on October 25th, 2023. The time is 6:02 p.m. Roll call.
Mayor Joe Shire.
Here.
Janet Charlton.
Here.
Jason Daly.
Here.
Randy Hall.
Here.
Mike Parsons.
Here.
Michael Ferguson.
Here.
We are all in attendance. Pledge of Allegiance. Ferguson, honors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor's report. Still waiting on the first draft agreement from the county regarding the water receivership extension. Warden Park security cameras. There are now 6 security cameras installed at Warden Park. Very good coverage down there. We even have the entire front of the church on the roadside covered as well, if they have any issues. We still have a couple more cameras left to install. We just need to figure out where we want to put them. So, public hearing on budget notice. It'll be on November 8th for the preliminary budget and revenue sourcing for levy settings. There'll be another public hearing for the budget on November 22nd for the final budget. Reminder that the park board is going to be holding a holiday bazaar fundraiser and tree lighting ceremony similar to last year. On December 2nd, that's the first Saturday. They're still looking for vendors that want to be part of the bazaar, and anyone else that'd like to help out or is interested in having goodies or anything like that. It was very well attended last year. Lots and lots of folks were downtown. It was exciting to see. Training, a reminder to elected officials to complete online trainings. This reduces our insurance costs. Any council members have anything to report?
That's comment.
No, okay. Agenda approval. I do have 2 changes to the agenda. First, the voucher amount were edited slightly. The end of October 2023 in the amount of $18,132.60 for a total of October 2023 in the amount of $107,362.82. So the voucher change, and then also we're requesting to move the executive session after public comment and elected official comments. That way the public doesn't need to hang around if they have any comments. We'll just excuse to executive session, and then after that we'll come out and adjourn the meeting, and that'll be the end of it. So those are the changes to the agenda that I have.
We need a motion to approve the correction.
I would love one.
Motion that we approve the correction of the October meeting, October 25th, 2023 agenda.
We have a motion by Mr. Ferguson to approve the agenda with the modifications. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mr. Daly. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Minutes approval.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes for the city council meeting of October 11th, 2023 as written.
By Mr. Daly to approve the minutes for October 11th. Do we have a second?
Yes.
Seconded by Mr. Hall. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Voucher approval. As a reminder, there was a change to the vouchers from what's on the official agenda.
Motion to approve the voucher for the end of October 2023 in the amount of $18,132.60, bringing the total for October 2023 to $107,362.82.
We have a motion by Mr. Ferguson to approve the vouchers as stated. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Daly. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Special reports. Park Board Chairman is unable to attend tonight. However, they did have a meeting last week. They discussed their Holiday Bazaar fundraiser. They also discussed, I'm drawing a blank. They had a 2.5 hour meeting, and I can't remember what they discussed.
Scheduling for their.
That's why.
They were talking about the upcoming fundraiser. They did discuss their
How about
budget.
the trees for trails? Is that coming
Tips for
up?
trails, yeah.
Tips for trails?
They are going to have a special workshop here. I believe they chose the date. Lisa, do you remember what the date is off the here?
I believe it is I want to say it's the 1st or the 2nd. I want to say maybe the 2nd, that Thursday at the track.
It's posted out front on the bulletin board. They're going to have it at the tracks to discuss budget issues. So. Planning Committee, they also held a meeting last week. However, they did not have a quorum. Several people had some things came up and they weren't able to attend at the last meeting. They will be scheduling a special meeting soon to discuss upcoming issues with a comprehensive plan. All right. City business. Public hearing on revenues and property taxes for the 2024 budget.
I'll make a motion that we open the public hearing. Is that time for that right now?
Traditionally, it would be, but we have decided that we no longer need to have motions to do it.
Okay.
I can simply say, I open this public hearing for public comment at 6:09 PM for revenue and property taxes for the 2024 budget. This is an opportunity for the public to address the council in any way they see fit. Ms. Radcliffe.
How are we supposed to comment if we don't get any of the copies? We don't know what you're proposing.
There are copies online. We have some upcoming, we have more upcoming public hearings. We should have a draft one next week as well.
So it would be nice if you were gonna have a public hearing, if you have something for the public to look at. Because not everybody goes online.
We're just trying to save money so that it's all online so you can read it.
So,
I went online today, I couldn't find anything.
There you go.
I mean, I saw stuff from 2021. I saw, it just said 2021. You can't access any, we don't know what you guys are talking about. That's why we're here, because we want to find out what you're talking about.
well, good. We've got another public hearing at our next meeting on the 8th, and then we have another public hearing on the 22nd. So nothing's been finalized. It won't be finalized until December. So there's lots of opportunity for comment, which is why we're starting here.
Are you raising up, do you have a number in mind?
It has not been decided yet.
Have you suggested one?
Nope.
Okay.
This is step one. This is just the first time and for public comment. Usually it's folks just saying,
There'll be zero.
don't raise our taxes.
The property taxes isn't listed on the Lewis County Assessor's website yet, so that's why there's not a handout for that, because they don't have anything.
Thank you.
So yeah, like Lisa
And
said,
it can be
we're still waiting on county on some of the numbers too.
until the next public hearing is presented.
I don't know what this is. What is this for?
Oh, that's the city insurance.
Oh,
That's our annual, our new rate.
this is just our salary schedule.
Just extra stuff on there.
Yeah.
Take on.
I don't see any expenses, all I see is revenue.
Was that all we got this week, the revenue one? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and updated the revenue expenditures.
Expenditures hasn't changed,
I only have one copy.
No, that's okay, is it online?
There's the full story.
In the agenda packet.
Thanks, Jason. I was trying to find mine. I was gonna hand it out.
Yeah, I think I got Randy's, actually, I don't know
Okay.
what that is.
Oh, yeah, my book. That's what I'm missing. I left my book out. That's why I don't have
Yeah,
it.
I left mine too.
Make a note of that.
Until folks are ready.
My book,
Oh,
Lisa.
this is probably for Lisa,
Lisa.
years, different years across.
But there's
the
no
year.
writing on it.
Yes, I know.
So this is would
Okay,
be
I
current.
probably took.
I mean, I don't know what the headings are.
Did you take yours home?
There's no headings on
There's
it.
no heading.
Yeah, I explained it to,
So
Oh.
right here would
I
be
thought I left
the
mine when I did my release.
what they
Can you raise it?
I'll bring it back.
You got changed right now.
spent budgeted, or that's current.
Bob, I cannot hear you very well.
Oh, it's just proposed. Okay. The headings.
there's one weird one on there.
I didn't, I guess, yeah, I have a different one that I have on the computer that
How
I
much
thought.
you guys
I
got
had
banged?
but that's just a vision.
How much go up in
Make sure it gets
I
put
know
on there.
1% this year, but how much have you guys got that you could save? You got saved. Thanks.
It was very hard to hear you, Bob. It sounds like you're very far away. Was the question, how much have we saved?
Yeah, it's how much have you got banked, I guess what you call it, is it not?
Oh, banked.
Oh, so you're talking about the banked levy capacity.
Yeah, what you got right now as far as putting against the citizens of Vader.
Okay.
1%.
That's going to be in the report that we're going to get from county that we have not gotten yet. And so once we have that report, we'll know how much is banked and, what we're able to raise it if we chose to raise it. Also on that form, it'll have the our current revenue from property taxes.
Question,
Didn't we
choose to like,
Didn't we have 5 or 6 left?
yeah, we like halved it or something
Yeah,
like that.
there was something still like 5 or 6% left from last year. So it'll be something like that. Yes.
Is the reason the 2023 is so much lower than budget is because you haven't received a final payment or something?
Yes, 2023 is going to be lower because it's not the end of the year, so we
So
don't
is it
have, that's
okay?
current, that's up to today, I think I printed that.
Yeah.
So we still have 2 months of revenue from sewer.
Did you vote?
from-
Huh?
On
Did you
the
vote?
general
Not yet.
taxes.
I get mine. I was gonna bring it down with me. I forgot that. Lewis County. I haven't looked at it yet. So 911, so that.
Do we pay a lot of overtime to our office people?
It's only a few hours a month usually. It's not very much.
You get 52 hours, you get 1 hour a week.
Yeah.
Overtime.
So that's what's budgeted.
Everybody in the office
it's-
or one person?
It's budgeted for, well,
Yeah, I'll-
the clerk treasurer,
and,
Public Works.
Public Works.
we budget an hour of overtime per week, which is.
52 hours a week?
No, 52 hours a year, so you get 1 hour a week.
I getcha.
Why do we even have any overtime? Why do
Well,
we
it's-
need to budget for that one?
Well, it's a conservative estimate. It's not like they're going to take the 1 hour of overtime.
I know that, but
It's
why even put it
being
in there?
careful.
Because I can't imagine why we even need to have overtime.
It does come up sometimes, if we have emergencies and John needs to stay late for public works related issues. Lisa has stayed late, working on budgets or other things. So it does come up. But again, we just budget for it. That way, at the end of the year, we're not surprised that we had an extra 30 hours of overtime or something like that.
Transition, they push people, training extra time.
Well, I understand that.
Consider it a worst case.
So, okay, so I'm just saying, if she's 40 hours and then I don't know what the other people are, 28, Is it 28 and something?
About the same.
There's two full-time, there's John and myself, Public Works and myself is full-time, and then the two deputy clerks are 28 hours.
So instead of paying a full 40-hour week person overtime, why don't we just give the other people that have 28 hours extra time if somebody has to stay? Because they don't get overtime, because they're not over 40 hours.
What if
And that's the areas that are in their
the
capacity.
clerk that has to be the one that stays?
She's gonna punch you in the throat.
Well, that's what it's there, it's worst
Typically,
case
the
scenario
next day
stuff.
after it was for like the audit or for budget or for the annual report, which the other two deputy clerks don't do.
Okay, so last year, how much overtime, how many hours did we pay out last year in overtime?
Lisa wasn't here.
I wasn't here, I don't
Oh.
know.
Is it on the, I guess we went, do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head what it was last year. I know it seems like on a month to month, seems like you're right around 3 hours or so a month. And John, John
I try to
really
be
isn't much
conservative.
any.
If, like say I have an hour overtime, I try not to, like I'll come in a little later the next day if I have to stay later.
Yeah, like comp time.
Yeah, just trying to condense it a little bit more so I'm not getting the overtime, like going over the overtime. But like the special, like meetings like tonight, I'm over my hours, I'm using that 1 hour.
So meeting nights, it's overtime.
If,
Yeah, Mr. Fraze is on overtime right now too, by the way.
depends if she came in later, earlier in the week.
We're talking overtime here.
I heard that. Who's in
The
charge?
deputy clerk keeps track of that. If you walk in, you also see a time clock on the wall and they badge in and out, not badge,
I know you.
but they badge in and out. And so it's recorded in a spreadsheet format.
I didn't think so.
This is a public hearing, not a council hearing.
Oh, that's right.
Did you hear me? Oh, God.
Hey, I'll ask it again when it gets to the council.
Any other members of the public have done anything they have questions on? Like I said, this is just the first one. There's two more opportunities, two more official opportunities to voice your opinion or your thoughts at upcoming public hearings. But of course, the council is always available to hear your thoughts.
I do have one question on your budget, and I could just be out of the loop on it, but just with the new fire tax on the property, is that, I thought it was gonna be under purview of the city for the fire department.
Yeah, I can answer that. So the fire department is its own government entity. The city does not have anything to do with the fire department. And so it operates on its own. You won't see anything in there about the fire department.
So that's why the budget doesn't show that tax increase.
Correct, yeah.
I do have a question about that also. We lived here a little over a year now, and I cannot for the life of me understand why we have Winlock servicing this town. I don't call it a city, because a city requires like a gas station and a grocery store.
When you say service, you mean fire services?
Yeah, why aren't we contracted with Toledo? Why are we contracted with Winlock?
Okay.
I don't understand that.
So again, the fire department operates as its own. There's their own fire commissioners, they have their own clerks, they have their own budgets.
Their own district.
They're a totally different entity. They do have one fire chief who's paid partially through Vader, the Vader taxes, and partially through the Winlock taxes. There is a, what do you call it? They have an interlocal agreement. So between the fire districts, so our Vader Riderwood Fire District has service agreements with Winlock and with Toledo and everything. And so if they ever don't have coverage, because like before this most recent levy passed, they were 100% volunteer here in Vader. And if no one was volunteering that day, service has to come from somewhere. And so it would come from whoever could get here, whether it's Toledo or whether it's Winlock, or a lot of times, if you'll see, it's both at the same time. They both race here. Whoever gets here first responds. And so it's for our own protection. So someone comes to answer the call.
Well, that's good to know, because I was like seeing everything coming from that direction, wondering why.
Well, Winlock's a little bit closer than Toledo also.
It doesn't seem like it to me. You just go right across the highway, I'm in Toledo. You know?
So with this most recent, folks seem to be interested in the most recent fire levy that passed. They're going to be able to hire full-time folks for the first time here at the Vader Riderwood Fire Station. And so there will be someone there 24/7 to respond to calls, where we haven't had that before, where it was volunteer. Now they'll have paid professionals right here in town, so they can get to you within 2 minutes instead of 8, 10, 12 if there's a train. It'll be a noticeable improvement.
When is that supposed to take place?
The new levies go into effect on the new year.
So do we have people lined up to take those positions?
I haven't talked to the chief lately, but he was going to start advertising and start interviewing for folks. They haven't had problems getting people in Winlock. He does a very good job running the Winlock Fire Station. Employees love to work there for the training that they get. And so it's actually going to be a rotation. There will always be people in Vader, but they will also rotate for training in and out of Winlock. And so here training, they'll be training everywhere. So they'll get the big picture.
Thank you.
But that's not about the city budget.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
The budgeting on the law enforcement, just in consideration with your council, have you looked into that expenditure to have a full-time city cop here, full-time instead of somebody from Winlock here, part-time or barely any?
Yeah, because it seems like
Yeah,
it's costing a lot for.
Okay, so I have done a little bit of research on behalf of that. Starting wage for a city police officer is $125,000 on average in the state of Washington. Now that's without the city providing insurance for the officer, a patrol car, fuel, dispatch, jail, all that kind of stuff. So we don't have, you have to excuse my voice, I'm just getting it back, but we don't have the budget to really do that. So me personally, I don't want to pay more property taxes, so I don't plan on doing any of that kind of crap. But, that's kind of where it comes from. It's either growth in business or residences. So we allow people to build and move here and acquire real estate. Every time there's a real estate transaction, there's a little trickle back to the town, which is going to give us more of a pot of money to work with.
Yeah.
Right now we don't. So what we do have is go into agreement with Toledo, who's real shaky. They've lost the majority of their city employees. They haven't been able to prove that they can keep a police officer. That's what I've noticed. So for us, my opinion, it'd be a gamble for us to say, hey, let's go into agreement with Toledo at this point. Lewis County has not offered us much that looks great, but we're not getting much from anywhere. I mean, go to the grocery store, go to the gas pump, it's everywhere.
You checked with Winlock?
What's that?
Did you check with Winlock?
I have not spoke with any of them myself, I did interview Sheriff Snaza, and I asked him, was there anything that we could do? Can we pay even more than that we're going from loose numbers here. I think it was 97 to 118,000 per year, which is 18% more money, and we're getting 25% less time. So I said, can we pay 25% more and keep the same amount of time? And he just can't do it because they don't have the budget to hire more officers to fulfill the hours and the commitment to those kind of contracts that we're requesting from them.
Yeah, I was just curious.
I hope that helped answer your question.
Sort of, we moved from Hoquiam, and I know the starting salary for a police officer in the city of Hoquiam was $8,000 a month. That's a lot less than $120,000 a year.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah, 8 to 60,000.
That's 96,000.
96,000. That's 96,000 a year. So I mean,
That's what I was saying to me, 96 for full-time versus 96 for part-time.
Another thing that the services that we pay for from them pays for like court costs and all these jail service fees that.
That could be a big liability if we have somebody in that jail. It costs us an arm and a leg. Court costs, that's all included with the sheriff. One lot, the other places, no. So it's a big liability gamble.
Keeps me with that,
Yeah.
with that contract.
Big liability gamble to do
Liability.
anything else.
I understand. I'm with you. I don't want to see our property taxes any higher. They're already too high as far as I'm concerned. If you guys want businesses to come in here and people to build more housing and stuff, you need to realize the taxes here are crazy, and I thought it was bad where I moved from until I got my first tax bill for here and I almost fainted. I could
Well,
not believe
it's a catch-22 thing. We only have less than 700 people live in town. As the town grows, more revenue comes in, like Mike was saying. So until we get to that point, it's not gonna happen.
We actually have lower property taxes within the Vader city limits than our neighbors do and than Lewis County residents do.
Yeah, it's the Lewis County that our county, where we moved from.
Even the county is trying to raise the sales tax.
Yeah, so I'm,
This next election, I don't know if you thought about
on the topic of law enforcement, so like Mr. Ferguson said, we were paying around 90,000, 95,000 a year for the patrol coverage that we had through Lewis County, and it's going to be going up to 115-ish or so, and that is a lot, but it covers, like this gentleman was saying, it covers everything, right? If we throw someone in jail, it's $100 a night if we didn't have a contract. It covers indigent defense, so if the criminal couldn't afford an attorney, we don't have to pay for that. Let's say Vader we'd used that money and we hired one law enforcement officer. We had our own law enforcement officer. How often is he working? 8 hours a day at best, of course. Probably less than that if he's training or on a break or whatever. So, but let's say 8 hours a day. Who comes the other 16 hours? The sheriff's department comes.
All right.
That's who, someone still responds, and that's who will come. If we don't have that contract, the sheriff's department will send us a bill each month for the amount of hours. And I think the latest was $100 an hour, give or take.
120.
Yeah, it was something like that. So it's something like that.
Per officer.
Correct, yes, per officer. And so if it's something dangerous.
Minimum of 3 hours.
They need backup, right? And so this can.
Or 4 hours per
Let's say they arrest someone and they go to jail and then it's $100 a night and the judge puts them in county lockup for 364 days and on and on and on and on. And so it could get very expensive very fast. And so having a contract or having a full-time police force is what you want. And obviously right now we can't hire 4 officers. Toledo is around $300,000 a year for their police, their budget for police coverage when they have a full complement of officers. Winlock is around $500,000, Napavine's around $600,000. And they have 4 officers. If you looked at our budget numbers our budget's around $300,000 a year to do everything the city does for the entire budget. So
I have a question.
it gets rough. Yeah.
Great. Well, so I'm just trying to figure out what has changed. We've always had police in Vader forever. We have more people now than we used to have. So what has changed that we've had to go to the sheriff's department and we can't have our own police force?
Well, even when we had one officer, or even when we had our own police force,
Right?
obviously it was before my time, we had one officer, didn't we?
No?
In the
Yeah.
more recent years.
We had one, Marcus. Right?
That's the one with the dog?
No, that was Joey.
No,
No.
Marcus was the tall blonde guy.
Yeah,
And,
Marcus.
and he was here for a while, and then the guy with the dog, and,
Yeah, then they go to
you
the.
know, that was,
Well, we
Stupid.
always had reserves, though. We always had
Right.
a chief and then we had a bunch of reserves. So I don't believe the 120,000 a year, because I've looked online. We have to compare a cop's wages to cities our size, not, no offense, Hoquiam or Seattle or Olympia. Of course, they're going to make more than what Vader, PL, whatever makes.
which
I
is,
just
which
try
is
to
one of the
figure out why.
problems, because they come here, because it's an easy job to
We've
do.
never even, we've not
We
even
train them
tried.
up, and then they go somewhere
But we
else.
haven't even
because of the
tried.
money.
We have made no attempt to advertise for a police officer.
Because we
None.
don't want to spend half of our budget on a policeman.
And the liability is,
Then,
But why did we always have one before? Why don't we have one now?
the
That's my
city ended
question.
up going bankrupt too, didn't it?
No, they did
Yeah,
not.
they
How
did.
did they? No, they did not. We always had decent, I mean, we had coverage. We had people here. Sure, they weren't always popular, whatever,
They
but,
lost the water system, they want in receivership.
well, that's not because we
yeah,
had
the
a
water
cop.
system don't pay for anything, it just pays for itself.
Yeah, that was not because
It's
we
all-
didn't have
It's
cops.
all part of the cash flow.
Okay, then, well,
Why do
that's,
you think they don't have a cop now?
that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
Money.
Why
Money.
more people? We have more people here. We have 2 part-time city clerks. We have a full-time city clerk. We have 2 part-time. Or do we have a full-time outdoor person?
Full-time and part-time.
Full-time.
Public Works is
part-time?
full-time.
One and then a
And
half-time.
then a seasonal, yeah.
Okay, so we don't have, obviously, too much of a cash flow as far as employees. So what's more important, that we have 3 clerks and 2 1.5 this? I mean, where do we cut? Why don't we have a cop in this town? It's
We
not
have no
about
jail, we
money.
have no court
It doesn't-
system.
We had all that. We've always paid it. We either went to Winlock and we used their judge. I mean, it's ridiculous that we
Joey,
cannot figure
Joey's
out.
reached out to Winlock, she's reached out to Toledo.
How hard have
The
we
numbers
tried
have not-
though? Nobody's really tried. Mike's had one conversation with Snaza.
Are we still in this?
Conversation with Toledo. You've reached out to Winlock
Winlock
with
and
no
Napa Vine.
Are we
response.
still in the public
So-
hearing?
We are in the public hearing.
Just curious.
That's part of the public hearing.
Public hearing / workshop.
Okay,
apparently.
well, it's all part of money.
Yeah,
I mean, I can talk about it again. I'm gonna keep talking about it because I don't think we're trying hard enough. I think we're going the easy route and we're just gonna hand it over to Lewis County and keep on keeping on, is what I think is gonna happen. I don't think 12 hours a week. I don't care what everybody thinks about Lewis County sheriffs, 12 hours a week for 100 and something is just wonderful. No, it's not. And I think we have other options. I just don't think we're trying hard enough. That's what I think.
Ms. Ratcliffe, you had a comment?
So that's for that 115,000 a year for 12 hours a week.
Yeah, it's the updated contract.
Okay, and you want, the city is proposing like 15 homes over there and 12 or 14 homes over there and another 8 or 10, 12 homes up by me and 3 or 4 down on A Street.
Yeah,
That's a lot of people.
Roughly 40 units, yeah.
Okay, so is there any plan in that revenue for more, taxes, more whatever, to somehow get, because she's absolutely right. I grew up, there was always a cop here in town. There was 1 or 2, everything, all the time. We had less people. I don't know how they paid for it. And somehow we figured it out.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I don't know if your expenses,
Cost of living is so
no,
much
don't
different.
interrupt. I was just wondering if with all the 40 homes that you have planned coming in, is there any plan to get, because 12 hours a week, I mean, that's not a lot. I know we get the jail, but really, how often do we use the jail, more than in one night? Or they throw them out as soon as you arrest them anymore.
It's 12 hours of dedicated patrol time, whether there's anything going on or not,
Okay.
and basically unlimited on call. So
There's no
all
payment for that.
right, all the 911s you can dial.
And how many
On top of
jail
that.
beds did we use this year?
It doesn't sound right. But
Jail beds. How many did we use this year? I mean, honestly, they let the little suckers out as soon as you arrest them anymore. So how many jail beds do we use a year?
so that's not in our monthly report. It's, if people get arrested, that's in the report. But, whether they, what they did after that up at the courts, that's not in the report.
We don't know.
We don't even really know the numbers.
Did Vader have control of some?
I know of two people that were for 8 months.
Vader have control of the water district, its own water district, when we had to.
One of them got out.
They don't make enough.
I don't even know.
They don't.
So that's what I was wondering.
Pays for itself.
You want 40 more
They don't pay
people,
for it.
40 more homes, which is approximately 50, how many people? 4 times 50 is 200 more people?
Well, it depends, right?
Well, I mean.
2 to 4, right?
Two-parent household with 2 kids.
What's the average nowadays? 2.5 or 3.5?
Per household?
Something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't
Anyway,
think we
so
can
3
estimate
people
how much
per
taxes
house.
we're gonna get back.
You know,
Yeah,
that's-
it's 120 people.
One of the other issues that nobody I think has talked about is the liability. With law enforcement, the sheriff's department takes that liability. So if one of our police officers was to arrest somebody and they didn't like being arrested, so they hire a local attorney and sue us again, just like all of our notice of violations seem to always end up in court. So there's another cost that we're avoiding also.
Because we're not, we don't have a lot of those.
I'm not doubting anything that you're saying cost-wise, the beds, the insurance, the whatever. I'm saying that we've always had one here somehow that counts. I don't know how they did it either, how they did it, but they did it. Number one. Number two, I don't think we've tried hard enough.
Cost of living is way different than 1980.
So it's
97.
everything. I'm not talking about 87. That's not the last time we had a cop, was 87. Everything's different. The prices are different.
I know,
The
I'm just
wages are
saying,
different. They're
and
higher.
I'm giving you a reason why, once we sold our cops, cars, all of our,
See the way this is gonna go.
We have more
And then
Well,
we're,
and that's, and
yeah, but we can't estimate how much tax money we're gonna get before we get it.
Well, you can't estimate, but you can plan. Without a plan, you're just wandering aimlessly. Do you have a plan if you get another 200 people in town? That's more density and people there are nuts, so.
And you're right. We can't, within our current year budget, we don't want to, build in expenditures based on homes that don't exist yet, right? We don't want to do that. But, folks talk about not wanting to raise property taxes. Folks talk about wanting, our own police department and things like this. Having that extra population, having that extra property value in town with those new homes, that's what's going to get us there, right? These are the wish lists that the city wants.
well, who wants that? Why are you saying the city? Who are you representing? You say that.
The growth, if folks want a $300,000 a year police budget, we need $300,000 a year. Where's that going to come from? That can't come from anywhere except new revenue. There's no knob we can turn to increase our revenue. Even if we could use all of our bank capacity, charge as much property tax as we could this year, and it would only be like 50 cents per house per month. I mean, it's nothing. Like overall for the year, it's like $8,000 increase. If we raise the property taxes to the max, we would take like $8,000 a year more to the city.
From everybody.
From everybody.
It's like $6 a household.
Yeah, it's like nothing. It really isn't. It isn't much. And so until we have more homes, which increases property values, and if you figure $300 a house is what the city would get for property taxes. And for population, it's around, well, my estimates are somewhere around $500 a person. Is about what the city gets from the state based on population. So you can start seeing it doesn't take a whole lot of houses, a whole lot of more people to start turning this knob a little bit so that the city can have the things that it wants.
Well, where are you getting the cost of the police? You said 300,000. Where are you getting that number from? Is
So if you
that
want to
the number
have,
you're grabbing from somewhere else?
No, if you want to be a self-contained police force where you have enough people to cover 24 hours a day without having to call the sheriff's department, at night because there's no one working.
Right.
You need to have, 3 people at least, preferably 4, to have an around-the-clock police department.
Mm-hmm.
And like
$100,000.
Like you said earlier, Napa Vine's $600,000 a year is their budget for their police.
Napa Vine has a lot larger population.
They do.
They have,
And they
like-
have businesses.
and they have 4
Right.
officers.
Yeah.
Well, you're not even including all the liability, jail and all that. You're talking about $500,000 a year, not 300,000.
Well, but the
If we
state
pinch.
gives money for police departments. The state, there's something in the state budget where they give departments money.
If you look in the revenue section, there's a thing in there about,
Emergency services.
it's in the revenue already. You can see the line item in there. It's just a few $1,000s.
That's because we don't have a police department, right? Is it more if we have one?
No.
It seems like it was higher than that when we knew law. We were getting more money from the state than a few $1,000s.
Well, their population is double and their property value. If you take everything in the city and add it together, it's also more. And so all those numbers go up. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. If you were speaking about the taxes from these homes that you propose to build, why aren't you trying to get businesses to come here? That's what I can't, they're gonna pay taxes just like everybody else. As a matter of fact, they pay a lot more because they have different kinds of taxes, not just property taxes, but you know. And so why aren't we trying to get like somebody to come in here with the grocery store or a hardware store or
I think
a pharmacy
with
or
more of a
gas
population,
station?
it'll come itself, I
People
believe.
aren't gonna move here, a lot of people aren't gonna move here if they don't have close by amenities.
A lot of people move here because they're a little bit away
That's
from
right.
things.
Yeah, when
Exactly.
I bought my house, I did not know there was no gas station here. Had I known that, I probably would have thought twice.
To buy it and open it up. It's down there.
I was dumb, I bought my house sight unseen online.
Oh,
I had no idea there was a train running right past my house either. That really upsets me. I don't like that at all.
you
It
get
should
used
be
to
a
it.
quiet zone between 10 PM and 8 in the morning. There's no reason for them to honk 4 or 5 times and blast you out of your
It's
house.
for safety.
But, because you could feel that train coming way before it gets here, number one, and we have those guards. But that's beside my point. My point is, if you want people to come here, you have to have something to offer them. There has to be something here besides a post office and this city hall.
Well, there's
Why?
25 new houses
Because
being
people
built in the
don't
next
want
year.
to
People
live
are
where there
coming,
isn't any
no matter,
That's not true.
no matter if we
That's
have that or
true.
not.
There's been people here for hundreds of years that keep coming here. Joe moved here. Mike's moved here. They didn't live here before. Why did you guys come here? There wasn't anything different here when they moved.
I've been here since I was 8 years old.
Well, I meant, you know what I'm saying, though? You left, you came back. You moved here whenever you moved here.
When Vader was a city, I have the history book, by the way. It was a bustling city. There was a
That was
lot of
in the
industry.
1900s.
In the 20s?
Yeah, the 1920s.
Now it's a ghost town. I'm sorry, but it is.
Yeah, we
Well,
liked it that
so-
way.
We're working on it. We have,
To answer your question about businesses, if you look at any of the downtowns, at any of our neighbors, they all struggle. And I'm not a business owner, but I mean, where do you shop? Well, you probably shop at Walmart or whatever. Why do you shop there? Because it's cheaper, right? Big stores can offer lower prices. You know, if you were to have a grocery store here in town, Mr. Daly, folks might not shop there because it's cheaper someplace else. I know Toledo and Winlock operate relatively successful grocery stores.
They've both kept Dollar General out of their towns.
Yes.
And the city of Vader didn't have that option.
Because Dollar General.
It's in the county permitted it, not the city of Vader. And so, you know, it's one of those things you need to have the customers to support the store. The store can't exist without customers. And so you're like trying to balance this, which one will come first, the stores or the people? And it's probably the people that need to come first before the stores come. Otherwise, the stores can't operate month to month.
I understand that. I'm just saying, you know, good feelers, you know.
And we have a downtown core area that's kind of designed to attract businesses and
Yeah.
such. I thought we had something going on in the downtown core, but
There is an interested developer that owns the vacant property down there that is talking about maybe next year starting the conversations with some more storefronts.
everyone wants a bakery in town and a coffee shop bakery.
That sounds good.
But you know,
But just remember, if they build it, you better go to it.
right. So when I was trying to figure out what to do with the store, what to do, it's like feed store, bar, beauty parlor. What is going to bring people there? What is going to make it a spot to come to? And so it's the same struggle anywhere in this area is what are you going to put there that's going to attract people to come here? So and that's the hardest part. That's why he says you got to wait for the people sometimes to get here first and then pop something up that once
Yeah,
you.
but even then, when the people like Toledo, I mean, you came from Toledo. Look how many, there has been a lot of businesses.
I grew up right in the middle of Toledo, Vader, and
So, but
Winlock,
you've
so
seen
I come from
Toledo,
everywhere.
the struggles
From
that the
nowhere.
businesses have had there. That's open, shut down, because the people of that community don't always support it. So it's open, I mean, I've seen a lot, same with Winlock. At one time, that whole street of Winlock was full of businesses. And now, not so much. I mean, it's starting to kind of get a little bit, but, you know. I mean, I don't buy my gas out the gas station because it's too expensive. I go down to the Space Jam down there, whatever it's called.
Space Jam.
That topic.
What was your question, Mr. Radcliffe?
I was just wondering about annexing more real property, like down to two corners or what do they call it now?
Yeah, up Winlock Vader Road.
Well, I mean, a couple thoughts. First, council and planning committee did start talking about this earlier this year or last year. Nothing official, just talking about it. And quite the commotion from the folks that lived in our urban growth area.
Was it just important?
Well, it was them, but then they also already started a petition and got signatures. And you know, we sent letters to a variety of people that lived on the border of the city limits, asking if they were interested in coming into the city. And folks either did not respond or said no. And so people are not interested in joining the Vader city limits, it seems. And those that got wind of it started to freak out. So whether that was justified or not, it doesn't really matter. They didn't want to. So good news is the city has 200 acres of farmland in the city limits right now that is undeveloped. And, you know, the folks just need to sell it to the right people. And we have room to grow right now. And we are, you know, we've had 15 or 20 homes go in the last 2 years. And you don't really feel the effect of that. You know, 40 more spread around the city, probably also, you know, relatively conservative amount of growth.
Well, if they're spread around though, but they seem to be concentrated on 2 or 3.
Yeah, a dozen here, you know, that kind of thing. So.
And they're median income homes, they're not, you know, apartment complexes.
We have a complex building, right?
8 units, very small.
Have we approved that?
Where's that?
It's still in its initial,
Oh, okay, so we haven't approved it.
It's a dual zone area, so that's allowed.
2 4-unit buildings, just little ones. Any other questions on the budget right now? There'll be more time at a later date.
You have raises for the staff? I don't have the expenses, so I don't know.
Yeah, and in the proposal, there's like 3%, is that correct?
So the salary schedule proposes the step increase, the annual step increase, and then a 3% COLA, cost of living.
On top of the step increase? So what's that come up to?
It would be like an 8% because
8%, right?
because the step increases are annually are 5%, so then that would be a 3% cost of living on top of that.
So 8%?
So it'd be,
Not for everybody, because some people have maxed out the steps,
Yeah.
and so they'll only see the 3%. They won't see their step increase.
I don't have any more questions.
Not on that.
Okay. I'll ask one more time, any other comments from the public regarding revenue and property taxes for the 2024 budget? No? Hearing none, this public hearing is closed at 6:53 PM. Moving on to item number 1, a city business council to continue discussion regarding the budget.
Didn't we
Just did that.
do that?
Any other comments on the budget right now?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Hey, if you guys want to just sit there and ask anything else.
It's on the agenda.
Okay, it's on the agenda. Okay, so back to the overtime. I know you've explained the city treasurer, but I've noticed that each person, unless I'm not reading this correctly, has 52 hours of overtime listed. That's the part-time, the billing clerk.
That's 52 hours, 52 weeks in a year. You have 1 hour a week.
Times 4 people.
that's probably not going to happen very often because you have to hit 40 hours as a
Good on
full-time.
overtime.
So that
They don't
you-
actually
Right,
get paid
no, that's
for
why
it.
I'm saying, why we even have that in there? That's like, I mean, that's a
Yeah.
pie in the sky, something.
I think it's just in there as a cautionary
Again, that's
in case.
worst case, right?
Mhm.
Like, for instance, the deputy clerk, the 52 hours of overtime is $1,800 a year. It's built into the budget in case it were to happen.
Which is who?
I full-time and John are public
But
works.
what's your title?
City clerk,
Clerk.
treasurer.
City clerk?
The top one.
Jesus.
She's the top one.
Queen.
The city, oh.
So what is all the overtime on all the employees added up for the year is $6,500? Is that what it is?
Well, I understand her having that built in there just in case of meetings or if you can't take comp time. But the other ones, let's just say 5,000 rounded off. We can take that 5,000 and put it somewhere else in the budget because that's not hypothetically, I mean, really not going to happen for somebody who's working 28 hours a week.
Sure. Yeah, we could remove that from the budget.
Well, I'm just saying that's 5,000 we can put somewhere else that someone might see something and go, hey, can we pack some money into that? And then you go, we don't have any, but we do really have 5,000.
Okay.
Remove the.
Hey, Joe, that's all in the general fund, right?
Correct.
No, it would be split
Just for the
between
part-time
both
work.
the general and the sewer fund, because the employees get paid out of, a combination of the two. Okay, all right.
Another thing that I'm proposing on that salary schedule is for, my salary comes currently 70% here and 30% sewer. And so I'd like to change that to 50% sewer, 50% city hall. And then my deputy clerk finance, she would go from 50-50 to 70% here and 30% sewer. So it would kind of help us out a little bit in the budget of taking more of a more cost out of the sewer instead of out of our current.
Why?
Sewer fund has more funds available, and I'm doing more work in the sewer than I think the previous one. That position was currently doing a lot more with the sewer, and now it's not, and so it makes more sense to move it back down to 30, down to sewer, and so I'm doing 50/50.
So you would go 50/50, part-time this and
I would-
part-time sewer,
Mhm.
and then this, the
And
person.
then-
That's just 50% of our wages would come out
I
of it.
understand
Okay,
that, yeah.
So it would leave more money.
just make sure.
A
Hey.
few,
Trust me, I got it.
yeah, it would just leave a few more dollars in the current fund to utilize for something else that could be taken out of the sewer fund. Since I'm doing 50% on both anyway.
And our billing clerk just does sewer
I'm
billing.
okay with that.
The billing clerk, so Melanie is our financial building and planning. So she doesn't really do a whole lot for sewer unless, she's taken on a task for our other deputy clerk, our billing clerk. She's 70% from sewer because she does the sewer billing, and then 30% out of current because she does office work as well. So it shows on there, they're just kind of swapped, 70/30, 70/30, but they're swapped. And then I would just be doing the 50/50 instead of the 70/30,
Okay, thanks.
if that makes any sense.
Makes perfect sense. Jason, does that make sense to you?
Got it. If you got it, I got it.
All right. Did everybody here next to you?
I don't know.
So another thing that I put in your packets was, so our insurance costs are gonna be going up. Our insurance for employees is going up, which only covers John and myself, our full-time employees get insurance. Our attorney fees are going up as well, which we'll be discussing in the resolution. And so more than likely, I have a stack of things, emails on my desk of costs that are going up. Telephone, computer support, so everything's just kind of going up.
Well, you really don't have a choice when they raise prices. I mean, well, we do with the attorney, but I mean, as far as insurance, you can't control that.
And then?
That's all I had.
Oh.
I mean, we're gonna talk about that later, apparently, the attorney.
Later as in right now.
Oh, right now?
Any other
Oh.
comments from the council on item number 1, the draft 2024 budget? Obviously, this will be on the agenda for the next 2 months. Okay, moving on to item number 2, council to consider resolution 19/2023, amendment to the legal services agreement with Quebec. Our contract prices with the city attorney have been largely unchanged for quite a while, just like everything else. They're going up. And so contract prices are set, hourly prices are set by contract, and so this would be an amendment to the contract for the price increase.
How much is it going up?
It's going from 212,
12 to 295.
Per hour.
So are they a local?
they are not local, they are in Bellevue.
Oh, you still got that same lady?
So
Yeah.
why don't we
Where
have
are they?
local?
Why?
Yeah.
What?
You're thinking.
What's her?
Because all the cities that have local attorneys have horrible representation.
Oh, I didn't buzz her. That's just nice.
Well, I mean,
It's
like,
very nice. Horrible representation.
no, I agree totally, but I was on the council and we had some horrible ones.
We have various agreements with cities, and they send their drafts to us, and we send them to our attorney, and they get torn up, get redone, because they're just local representation around here is not good.
Are we talking local as in Lewis County, or are we
Yeah.
talking local Callis County, Lewis County, Thurston
The
County?
Lewis County ones that we're familiar with, yeah. And I can say that the city's been using Jennifer Robertson, and she had her own company for a while, Northwest Urban Law. She's moved to a larger firm since then, and she kept her clients. And she is an absolutely stellar attorney. She is a rock star. And she has been an amazing asset to the city.
Well, they need to change this where it says the city council of Reston.
Oh, does the resolution have the wrong city
Yeah,
in
it
it?
says Reston.
Here, and I go on to say that she's amazing, and
Oh,
then
wow, she's good, isn't she good?
I'm telling you.
Wow. Glad we have her.
well, we'll have Janet proofread.
Yeah, I'm
proofread
good.
it.
What part?
And it's going from, I think, 2:30.
Is it in the agenda, Bill, or is it in the actual resolution that it says Ruskin on the title?
You can't trust Joe's opinion, he likes money.
Resolution number 19,
Of course it's not.
2023. City council of the city of Reston hereby resolves as follows.
Yeah, and it says Vader up here and Vader
Yeah.
here. I wonder how it's Vader throughout except for one spot.
I don't know. She just copied and pasted and charged us $300 from the city of Reston.
Crossed it out, obviously. What's that called when it's an obvious mistake? It's a Scrivener's error, what it's called, I think.
Well, I'm sure this is a generic agreement she has with whatever town she does, and she just changes the name. She just
I do
forgot
know
to change
that, I do
Reston.
know that is another city that she represents.
Yeah.
Good job. I'll let her know that you found it.
So we're not interested in looking around because we're happy with her.
We should not look around.
Okay.
Well, then I make a motion that we,
She's absolutely incredible. You know,
Okay.
she's gone to court for various,
Online or something?
she's not online. We pay her, she doesn't pay me.
yeah, she'd be charging us if she was. I'll make a motion that we accept resolution 19-2023, amending the legal services agreement.
We have a motion by Mr. Daly to approve resolution 19-2023. Do you have a second?
I'll second that.
Mr. Ferguson. Further discussion? Do I need to keep speaking to her accolades? I don't know.
Nope.
Okay, I'll stop now. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving resolution 19-2023, say aye.
Aye.
We lost Mike Parsons somewhere in the discussion.
Oh.
Any opposed? Motion carries even without Mike Parsons. Apparently Mike had to run. And public comment, any members of the public have any comment tonight?
I do have a question. You will somehow let us know if they're going to make up that planning committee update? Or will it be before the next one, like is the November one, or are we just gonna do the November one?
I'd like to see that they were able to find a time to get together before then, but I haven't heard anything.
And
We
how,
can make sure that you're on the list of people that get notified though.
yeah, because that's ridiculous. How, they're in the pre-planning, those people that want to do the 15 houses.
Yeah, so the city they presented initial designs to the city, the engineer and the planner and some city representatives reviewed it, gave suggestions to them. And they are finalizing their final proposal that they will propose to the city. And then from there, the various public notices, if there's any variances required, those hearings will happen. And so.
And the city is for the high density development.
Who are you talking about?
High density is an odd term.
I know, when you
but-
say city though, who are you
Well,
referring
I
to?
mean, it sounds like when I talked to Joe and I talked to, I don't know, it wasn't her, it was one of the other girls.
230 square feet.
I can hear you.
I was just asking him a quick question. I think it's 230.
The buildings are 1,500.
So I was just wondering, it sounds like the city is in favor of that. I was wondering if that was still true.
Well, the development regulations that allow this stuff
Well,
has already been approved in years past.
right,
So it's already, I mean, we have zoning, we've approved all the regulations. This stuff is already allowed.
In Vader, that's why I was wondering.
What is
High
high?
density is 5 feet away from the next house.
No,
The
still have
the
setbacks.
setbacks are still,
5 feet. Have you looked at it? Did you read it?
I don't,
It's 5 feet, it's a 50-foot lot with a 40-foot pad.
oh,
Wait a minute.
the setbacks still apply.
But it's only a 5,000 square foot, 6,000 square foot lot.
Right,
It's 50 by 100.
6,000 square foot property, yes.
Right, it's high density compared to what our ordinances say, which is 75 by 120.
Well, I don't like the term high density because it's higher density than what we have now, but it is less density than Chehalis, Centralia, Winlock.
We don't want to be that.
We are less, I mean, they're still very large.
We don't want to be there, or we live there. You know, we don't want to be Vancouver. We want to be rural.
And it may not matter because it's not being built next to you, but it might matter to the people who
Back
have
to
the
the
property
original
next.
question,
Oh, sorry.
it sounds like you're in favor, and it sounds like the city, well, that's just.
It'll go to the planning committee and then any variances will go to the planning committee and any variances will then go to the city council.
You're not going to give your opinion?
My opinion is the city needs more houses and the city needs more people. Otherwise, you're never going to have your police department. Otherwise, you're never going to fix the roads. Otherwise, you're never going to do any of this stuff.
These were based on exceptions.
It's right by your house.
Public comment. Public involvement.
Back row.
Do you have any other public comment? Anyone?
And just where are these things gonna be?
The county's growth plan.
Did we approve the attorney?
Yeah,
Who's that?
Perfect.
Mike
Who was that, Mr. Notch?
Mike,
Parsons.
That was Mike Parsons. He asked if we approved the attorney. Great deal, he said.
The planned growth, the county planned growth meeting. I did not attend the planned growth meeting.
She asked where they were going to be. Did anybody answer her? Do you know?
The 15 are going right here, aren't they?
At the end of 10th Street over by Alpine Court and in between D and E on the south side.
And
Mike,
isn't
you're
there
off
one
of
on
that.
A?
It's down on D.
There's 9, there's 10.
That's-
Oh.
Okay.
So they're all on this side of town, the
Yeah, that's a
two
big
12-home
street, big
developments.
valley.
And then throughout the city.
There's more going up here too, right?
There's one up by, up on 506.
Yeah, and there's a variety of
And
other
A
ones
Street.
that aren't unplanned. There's
when's the one you-
3 homes on A Street.
Suspended.
There's another home that just went in last week on B Street.
Yeah, they don't have an
Just maybe 8 homes on the highway, just kind of scattered everywhere.
Mhm.
Any other public comment? Mr. Goff, were you saying something? You were very quiet.
Yeah, but evidently they couldn't hear me.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right. Elected official comments tonight?
I had a couple questions about previous things we've talked about, just touching base.
Okay.
One was we had discussed looking into, I believe, the speed limit going through town.
Okay. Yeah, so I talked to the attorney about that email, and the state of Washington just made it quite easy to lower speed limits to 20 miles an hour, and it can be done via ordinance. And so I was going to talk to council about that at the next meeting.
Okay.
To see if we were interested in pursuing that. So it'd be
506?
it
Yeah.
would not be the highway,
Oh.
it would be city streets.
Oh, we talked
If we're
about
interested
that.
in doing the highway, I can get you that information, but it would require the city paying for a traffic study and to prove that it should be lower.
And our city streets,
I can get that information for you.
our city streets are right now 25 miles per hour?
Yeah, so if the city doesn't have some other code or ordinance, which there's nothing listed in our code, it defaults to the state RCW, which is 25 on city streets.
Well, I wasn't referring to the city streets. I was referring to
Oh.
the Highway 506.
Yeah, so I can get you that information, but like I said, pretty sure it was talking about needing a traffic study to prove to WSDOT that we had a need for that.
So every Winlock, Napa Vine, they've all paid for traffic studies?
Well, the state may have voluntarily lowered those speed limits.
So they could voluntarily lower it if we asked it to, or if we had maybe our sheriff's department ask about it too?
Napa Vine doesn't have a state highway going through it. 603 is,
Yeah.
even though it sounds like a state highway.
No, I meant, oh, yeah, 5. What's the one that, Winlock Vader Road that it turns into Napa Vine?
That's
Winlock?
all on 603, and it's still a county road, even though it sounds like a state highway.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so that's a county road.
It's 603.
Who sets those speed limits?
The county commissioners.
So we could ask the county commissioners, no,
No.
because this was
No,
506.
the
Never
state-
mind,
the
I'm
state.
telling you, 506
We
is
have
state.
we have a WSDOT regional representative that we could talk to about
Okay.
that. Okay.
Okay, so that was one thing we talked about. And then another one was, we talked about cameras down at Murphy Park.
Well, you're talking faster than I can write.
That's okay. Bless you.
Okay. And second question?
Cameras.
Cameras
I
where?
think we talked about that at one meeting down at Murphy's Park.
So there are already 4 cameras at McMurphy Park.
Will those other 2 cameras that we have extras from the other, will they integrate with the other ones?
Yeah, it's the same ones, yeah. Same system. Yeah, we could move them over.
Seems
there.
like 8 at that little park is a lot.
It does.
So, I mean, you said it was pretty covered with the 6, so.
Yeah, so with we were thinking about having one, there's a wireless one, we were thinking about putting it on the far side of the old pavilion, nearest to the bathrooms, instead of coming from the jail straight. There's one that's in the jail that goes straight under the pavilion towards the bathrooms.
Mhm.
But if anyone's causing any problems by the bathrooms, it's still so far away that it would be tough to get. And so we're thinking about putting one under the eave of the pavilion, right above the bathroom, so that we could have a better view of people, which.
You're using the bathroom?
It's not in the bathroom.
I know.
Bathroom, but, you know.
Someone getting drug into the bathroom.
Yeah.
People have been known to go in and out of there, and there's been spray paint issues in there. And,
There's a lot more to vandalize at that part.
It's first kid safety too.
and so, yeah, it would be looking at from an angle at the bathroom doors, but not into the bathroom.
Right. I got it. You're okay.
That's
You're
my
okay.
original question. McMurphy Park, do we think 4 is enough, or are we having problems there? Do we need to add some more?
4 is good. I wouldn't mind having one lower. So if you're driving to McMurphy Park, up on the pole, there's 4 cameras. We have really good coverage everywhere. I would like one lower, pointing right at like the
License plate.
license plates. So right now we're coming from above, and so
Right.
it's really hard to see in the license plate. If we were down below, we might be able to get a better shot.
So maybe we can add
so
one
we-
down there.
So we could look at doing that.
Well, wait a second, didn't we get license plate numbers from that Chevy truck that was down at
We
town?
we didn't get license plates.
You didn't get license?
No, they were too far away, and they were always on the side.
Okay, one more question, I'm done. Okay, downtown, in front of our new handcrafted merchant. Can we do something about cleaning up that sidewalk and having those people move their stuff and like
The
maybe,
pallets and whatnot.
yeah, and maybe have like a customer parking, I don't know, only sign, like kind of in front of her place? Because I actually went in there last week and visited with her. And she's had some issues with them already, and
Oh, really?
they purposely blocked all her parking in the front with their vehicles.
Okay.
And I mean, that's been a pet peeve of mine anyways, all that stuff on the sidewalk.
So the folks that have been putting things on the sidewalk, they've been, during like May and stuff, we sent them a letter and we asked them to please move their items, and they have done that for us. Of course, for whatever reason, it comes back. So, there is a bed and breakfast going in downtown.
Right, that's the other thing.
And so, that was one of the things we're going to look at, is keeping that permanently clear. That way it would stay.
Well, don't we own the sidewalk?
We do.
Well, I thought we had an ordinance that said that it has to be business parking in front, and if you lived in the apartments, They had to park in the back.
I'm not sure if it says anything about that, but as far as the sidewalks,
Yeah.
yeah, we can
Yeah.
Because
absolutely have the
honestly, if
sidewalks. to be-
someone
be
gets
clear.
hurt by those pallets or something on there, they ain't gonna sue Bonnie and Doug, they're gonna sue the city.
They're still alive.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it?
Mhm.
Huh?
Post office
Actually, I haven't seen him for a while, but I know he's still kicking.
is. That's it, that's all I had.
Okay, any other council members? No? So what will happen is we will adjourn to executive session. At the end of executive session, we will come back out here and we will adjourn the meeting, but there will be no discussion or any other city business. So you can all stay and wait for us to hit the hammer and say goodnight, or
I'd just go. We go into office.
hold on, I'm not done with my speech.
Oh.
Oh, there's more?
No. Yeah, so the time is 7:18 PM. The council will now go into an executive session per RCW 42.30.1101G for personnel and RCW 42.30.1101I regarding potential litigation
Like, whatever,
for 15 minutes,
but it's good for them, it's good for me.
which will be ending at 7:33 PM.
You're just like your dad.
I love you.
This conference will now be recorded.
Did I leave my binder here last?
The executive session has completed on schedule. No decisions have been made. Time is 7:34 PM. And we adjourn this city council meeting at 7:34 PM.
Thank you, Lisa, for doing that.
Bye, everybody.
The executive session.
Oh,
Yeah.